guys, it's Marcy. Thanks for tuning in to Miles to Go. If you're new to the channel, I'm a somewhat novice hiker and newbie backpacker about to start a northbound through hike of the Pacific Crest Trail, or PCT. In my last video, I talked about where I'm at with planning and preparing for my hike and answered some frequently asked questions. Since that video, I've made the final decisions on my sleep system, put together my plan for preventing blisters, found a way to get to the southern terminus on March 19th, and worked my last nursing shift before hitting the trail. In this video, I want to talk a little about my thoughts and feelings on starting my PCT through hike as a plus size or overweight hiker. As I've been vlogging my journey as someone new to backpacking and planning a through hike, I've almost been intentional about not discussing my weight because I haven't really wanted it to be a focus of my videos or my journey. I think that adventure and the outdoors are for everyone, and I want to carry myself and present myself as just another hiker because I am just another hiker. Everyone has their own set of circumstances and maybe their own challenges. One of mine is my weight, and while I think it's awesome for people to take up hiking or attempt a through hike with a specific goal of losing weight, that's just not where I'm at personally right now. For me, I'm hiking in spite of my weight, but not really because of my weight. So that being said, I did think it was worth acknowledging and talking about a little here on the channel. When I really got into hiking a couple years back, I was pretty self-conscious about being heavy. I thought that I would look out of place on the trail, or I was embarrassed about my slow pace, my huffing and puffing on a climb. I was even shy about telling people that I like hiking because I thought they would kind of look at me and think, really? So when I got serious about planning a through hike, I felt like I had to lose the extra weight before starting, or there was no way I could get out there. But I never lost any weight. So while I was getting into hiking and feeling pretty self-conscious, I started to follow some other plus size hikers in groups like Unlikely Hikers, Fat Girls Hiking, and some individuals like Ashley of Ashley's Adventure and Second Chance Hiker. I also came across just tons of other people in hiking groups on Facebook or blog posts who boldly get out there and hike even though they're heavier. So I found that there's a huge community of people who hike or adventure outdoors and are overweight. I was really encouraged and inspired by some of those people and kind of just decided to get out there myself and own it. I also decided that even if I didn't lose the weight, which I haven't, I was going to start my through hike as planned, and I am. So for the last couple years, I've been hiking. Even though I haven't lost weight, my body does feel stronger. I've started backpacking. I've increased the number of miles I'm comfortable hiking. I've also made a lot of progress and feeling more comfortable in my body on the trail, regardless of my weight or my size. It's taken effort to feel comfortable, and it still takes effort. But at this point, I have boldly announced to everyone in my life and all over YouTube and social media that I love to hike, and I am planning to hike from Mexico to Canada in this body. As far as finding the confidence to do this overweight, these are the things I've had to learn and practice and am still practicing continually. First, I think a certain amount of not giving a crap what other people think is required. And I want to be careful saying that because I don't want to feel or act that way with a confrontational or defensive attitude. I just mean that I've had to work on developing that grit and acceptance of myself that isn't dependent on what others may think. So even though no one wants to feel misunderstood or underestimated, and it's fine to want acceptance from others, that can't be what validates me or makes me feel like I have the right to be out there. On that note, there have been very few times when someone has been rude or even expressed doubt in me because of my weight when I talk to them about hiking. When I talk to other hikers and most people in general, I almost always find nothing but positivity and acceptance. They say the hiking community is the best for welcoming and supporting everyone, and that's really been my experience so far. Also, I've really come to believe and experience that giving positivity and acceptance is the best way to get it back. Knowing how I feel and how I hope to be treated has maybe made me more intentional about how I approach and treat other people, specifically on the trail. I want to be thought of as just another hiker, so I plan to think of and treat everyone I meet in that same way. I think a side effect, if you will, of this personal journey for me is that I've actually become more open and social. At first, I felt self-conscious, so I acted shy when I met other hikers on the trail and tried not to get caught in conversation. But now I'm sure to give a big smile and a friendly greeting when I see other hikers, and if someone stops to talk, I try to welcome it and make a connection. Finally, if I can be kind and understanding of others, I should also make an effort to be kind and patient and accepting of myself. Hating or resenting my body won't do me any good. Instead, I try to remind myself to be grateful for what this body does for me and where it can take me. It is something that I have to remind myself of over and over again, but that's what it takes. And even though, yes, it's tough for me sometimes, I don't want to apologize for my weight. I don't want to hide it in my YouTube videos. I don't want to hesitate to make relationships on the trail because I feel bad about myself or self-conscious in some way. I just want to hold my head up high, respect everybody, and soak in every moment of this adventure because why shouldn't I? As far as the physical challenges I'll face on a thru hike as an overweight hiker, I do believe that my weight will have a pretty significant impact on my experience, especially at first. So I'm not expecting this to be easy. I know I'll have a harder time with hydration, maybe a greater risk of injury, and of course a slower pace. Obviously, someone at a healthy weight and in great shape will have an easier time in some ways than me. Thru hikers are worried about getting their pack weight down as much as possible, and I'm worried about that as well, but at the same time, I'm carrying a lot of extra body weight too, and I know that I'll feel that. But I believe my body will adjust. I believe it will be good for me. I believe that I want this enough to push through. And I've chosen an earlier start date and budgeted for extra 0 days so that I can give my body the time it needs to adjust and get stronger. One last question to answer is, even though I'm not hiking primarily to lose weight, do I want to lose weight? And the short answer is yes. I want to be healthier. I want to feel better. I want to move easier. And if I'm being honest, I know that in my particular case, my weight is directly related to a bad diet and my lifestyle choices in the last few years. Now, that being said, I know my diet as a thru hiker is unlikely to be excellent. Many thru hikers have a lot of junk food in their diets, and while I want to make an effort to get good nutrition while I'm on the trail, I imagine that I will still have a good bit of junk food in my diet. So I don't see a thru hike as a way to start a lifelong diet change. However, I do think it's possible that it could be a catalyst for a lifelong change in perspective, or at least an exercise in getting away from physical indulgences, which could be beneficial in a long-term way. It's likely that I will lose weight on the trail. Even thru hikers who aren't overweight usually do lose some weight because it's nearly impossible to keep up with your body's calorie needs when you're hiking 20 plus miles a day for 5 or 6 months. So while this channel and my hike are not primarily about weight loss, I hike for a lot of reasons, and yes, improving my physical health is certainly one of them. So that kind of sums up my thoughts on being an overweight thru hiker. I'll be sure to put some links in the video description below to some other hikers and resources that have helped and inspired me along the way. I hope that if you're an unlikely hiker because of your weight or for any reason really, that you'll find the strength to be bold and own your place in the world and on the trail. I hope to see you out there. And to be clear, if you're a lean, mean hiking machine and you totally look and feel the part, I think you're awesome too, and I'm looking forward to being on trail with you as well. Thank you all for following along and for your kindness and support. Like I said earlier, I'm already seeing how awesome the hiking community is, and I am proud and excited to become a part of it. So happy trails to you all. Stay tuned for my PCT gear video coming soon, and of course stay tuned for my PCT thru hike starting in really just a couple weeks. If you have any thoughts or questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments below.